Good evening, everybody. We're learning the Rambam, Hilchis Temidin Umusafin, Perek Gimel. The Rambam learned, since a wonderful thing to learn, Halacha Le'Yuna, the Rambam learned Halacha Yud Gimel. The Rambam sagt, Neir Ma'arovi Shekovo. When a Neir Ma'arovi, the shaila is, where was the Neir HaMa'arovi? We'll get into that soon. But the Neir Ma'arovi, there was a big nest that the Neir Ma'arovi was burning day and night. Not like the other natives. Like the Gemara says, Eidus hu boy elo masadon eibishtabayid. So this Neir Ma'arovi shekovo, after you clean it, and after you take out the shemen, the old oil and the old psila, and you put a new oil and a new psila, you don't relight it elo mizbeach hachitze, only from the mizbeach hachitze. Avol shara neres, but the other 6 candles of the Menorah, kol neir shekova mehen, any neir that was extinguished, madlikoi mineir chavere, you light it from another candle. The chiyuv to only bring it from the mizbeach hachitzein is only by the Neir HaMa'arovi. Even if there's other candles lighting, its light only could come from the Mizbeach HaChitz. Zog the Ravid, Midvorov, neither Midvorov, we see from the Rambam that he says that the Neir HaMa'arovi could only be lit from the Mizbeach HaElah. No, if you find that the Neir HaMa'arovi was extinguished, it was after the days of Shimon King Godel, Midashnei, you clean it and you light it for the Mizbeach HaElah because there was no other Menorah near lighting a Menorah because it was all cleaned. Now, the Ravid says that you're not, the Torah says, Eish Tomi Tukat Al Mizbeach, that it has to be a constant fire. The word Tomi tells us that the Eish, which is Tomi, should only come for the Mizbeach HaOlah, Sheleyovi Mi Mizbeach HaPnimi. He shouldn't bring it from the inner Mizbeach, and not from any other oven burning. But the Ravid says if there's another candle already burning and the Neir HaMa'arovi is extinguished, he could light it from a candle that's lit. This what I'm telling you, that you could light the Neir HaMa'arovi from another candle, and it doesn't need to come from the Mizbeach HaOlah, is a Mishnah Shlema. The state of Mishnah Meseches Tomit. Nichnas umotza shnei neiros mizrachiyim. If you go into the Beis Hamikdash, let me show you here. Show and tell. The Ravid learns that the Menorah was standing like this. Mizrach L'maynev. Which candle's Neir HaMa'arovi? So it's the second candle. This candle's Neir HaMa'arovi. You can't make it the first candle because it's Mizrachi. So the second candle's the Neir HaMa'arovi. You don't want to go further because Ein Ma'avirin Ala Mitzvahs. So this candle, the Neir Havov, the 6th candle, was the Neir HaMa'arovi. It's also brought down in Likutei Torah. Sorry, in Torah Eir, the Alter Rebbe says Neir Avov. So there's a Mishnah Masechet Tamid that says that if the two candles, Shnei Neiros HaMizrachim, are burning, says the Mishnah, Delkim, so Medashin, you clean up the other, if they're still lighting, you clean up the other neiros, 5 neiros. But if they're extinguished, you clean the Neir HaMa'arovi, and then you relight it from the burning candle, and then you clean the rest. Zetwe von der Mishnah Meseches Tamid, that you could light the Neir HaMa'arovi from another Neir. The only diuk is that you shouldn't light it from Mizbeach HaPnimi or another fire. But it doesn't have to come from Mizbeach HaOlam. Shrei Deravid, it's a Mishnah Mefureshes, and if everything is off, then you go to Mizbeach HaOlam. But if there's another Neir and you could stretch the psilas to touch each other, you could light it for the Neir. Rambam says, no. Neir Tomid Ein Madliki Noisa, even if there's another Neir burning, it must come from the Mizbeach HaOlam. So the Rambam in Pirush HaMishnayos, this is all explained in great length in Rishimas HaMenorah from the Rebbe, an amazing Rishima to explain the shit of the Rambam and the shit of the Ravid in the Menorah. The Rebbe says that the Rambam learns in Pirush HaMishnayos that this is the Neir HaMa'arovi, the one who's mamish lifnei Hashem. Memele, there is no raya from the Mishnah that the Neiros, that the Neir HaMa'arovi could be lit from another candle, because he's only talking about these candles. That's to understand why are these candles still burning if it's not the Neir HaMa'arovi. A lot of discussion. So that's what's number one. Number two, the Rambam in his Sefer, in the Hilchos Beis HaBchira, in the Sefer Hayad, learns that the Menorah was this way. Mitzofa in Ledorim. So the Neir HaMa'arovi was talking the middle Neir, and the other Neiros, the other 3 Neiros on both sides were facing the middle Neir. So, based on the way that Rambam learns in Pirush HaMishnayos, which is Neir HaMa'arovi, and based on what he learns in the Rambam, there is no raya from that Mishnah, because that Mishnah is talking about different Neiros, not the Neir HaMa'arovi. The Rebbe explains there in the Rishimas HaMenorah in great detail the chilukim, why the Rambam paskins like this, why by Shulchan he paskins that it's memizach l'mayrev, why by Menorah he paskins it's sofen l'dorim. It's a wonderful rishima, but bottom line is, according to the Rambam, there's no raya from the Mishnah in Tamid. Some people want to say that Rambam had a girsa in that Mishnah, that it wasn't that he found 2 Neiros Mizrachim Delkim, but he found 2 Neiros Ma'arovim Delkim, that he found these 2 candles burning, and one of them was the Neir HaMa'arovi. So l'choira, you could bring a raya from the Mishnah in Tamid that the Neir HaMa'arovi could be lit from another Neir. Since la halacha lemaisa. So first of all, the Rebbe says if you look in Pirush HaMishnayos, he says the lashon Mizrachim, not Ma'arovim. But even if you want to say it's Ma'arovim, But lahalocha, the Rambam paskins that the Menorah was like this. Itzofa and Ladora. And the middle candle was the Ner Amarovi. So the Mishnah in Tomid is not a raya. The Mishnah in Tomid says you could light it from other candle because he's not talking about the Ner Amarovi. The Rebbe in Lekutei Sichos, Chelik Yud Zayin, has a fascinating chkira regarding the chiyuv to light the menorah from the mizbeach hachitz. Do you say that it's a halacha that it cannot be brought from anywhere else, like the lashon of the Ravid is? Lo yovi mi mizbeach hapnimi v'lo mi beis hakirayim. Can't bring it from anywhere else. But if you could bring it from the menorah, there's no problem. The word is not from anywhere else. Or do you say it's a din in adlokas hamenorah that it must come from the mizbeach? The Rambam learns that the adlokas hamenorah must come from the mizbeach. It's a din in adlokas hamenorah. It's not a din in the mizbeach that this is the only place that could give fire. It's a din in the adlokas hamenorah. Therefore, the Rambam learns that Ner Ma'arovi Shekova Ein Madlikin Eisei Achad Yishunei Elo Mimizbeach Hachitzon. It's a din in adlokas hamenorah. But according to the Ravid, it's a din in the mizbeach that it's the only outer source that can give light to the menorah. It's not a din in the menorah. And the Rebbe says to look at this Rambam and Ravid. If you say it's a din in the menorah, so Ner Ma'arovi Shekova, you have to light it, even if there's other candles, you have to light it from the mizbeach. But the Ravid learns it's a din in the mizbeach. It's not a din in the menorah, and it's just a din shelayovi mi mizbeach hapnimi v'loi mi beis hakirayim. Chelik Yud Zayin, Omid 50. Very, very fascinating. I'm in the middle of the shoot when I finished. So, the Rebbe learns that this is the machlekes of the Rambam and the Ravid. If it's a din, menorah, and the Rebbe says, he brings a rayat that the Rambam writes this halacha in the halachas of hadlokas hamenorah, not in Eisha Mizbeach. Masha'enkin, the Ravid argues. There's a shaila here on the Rambam. If it's a din in the menorah, that only that, please quiet. If it's a din in the menorah, why is it only Ner Ma'arovi Shekova? Why not every name? There's a Minchas Chinuch, the Rebbe's Mitzayin, in Mitzvah Tzadik Ches, that says that the other natives, L'shittas Rambam, Rotzo maybe from another name, Rotzo maybe Mimizbeach. Oh, but the Ner Ma'arovi is only from the Mizbeach. Why should there be a difference? Zog the Rebbe, In Aora 3 in that Sikha, in L'chut Sikha Chelik in Zayin, Zog the Rebbe that the Ikir HaMenorah is the Neir Tomid. And he brings a Rogatshov in Elchas Chanukah that says that Bisman Chanukah they only lit the Neir Tomid. He brings a Chiddush over there. And you could be Yoitze with this, the Neir Tomid Lifnei Hashem. So the Ikir HaMenorah is the Neir Tomid. That's why the halacha that it could only come from the Mizbeach HaChitzin is only by the Neir HaMarov it's ma'akev. By the other neighbors, it's not so ma'akev. The Rebbe in that Sikha says, what's the Nekuda? The Nekuda is that there's a Mizbeach HaPnimi. The Mizbeach HaPnimi shows an Avedis Hashem on a very high, lofty level. The Neir HaMenorah, in order it should shine, has to come from Mizbeach HaChitzin, for something that's connected with the world, with dealing with the world. It cannot just come from the Mizbeach HaPnimi, from a high, lofty level in Avedis Hashem. Dafke, when you're there to be mevar of the world, dafke from there, your Menorah could shine. This is very similar to what the Rebbe said in the first Basi Lagani, Al tikra vayikra elo vayakri. If you want that your vayikra, your Avedis Hashem should shine, there has to be vayakri. You can't just have vayikra. This is the lesson from the Menorah being lit from the Mizbeach HaChitzon. There's a fascinating Rambam in the Meir Nevuchim. The Rambam says, why did they bring keteres? Because in the Beis Hamikdash had gestunken from all the burning of the meat, the karbonis elo. They wanted good smell, aroma in the Beis Hamikdash, so they brought the keteres. Shreit of them the Ramban, you made the keteres air freshener, oily seer. Keteres. So the Rebbe's masbir that what does it mean air freshener? It doesn't mean regular air freshener. The Mizbeach HaChitzon was there to deal with the Chitzon being Maile, the Ruach HaBehema. So it stunk, it's difficult. When you're fighting with a Behema, it's difficult. Kol HaMisaviki Menuvel Misnavel Gamkin, you get a little dirty. You need some refreshness, some keches from the etzem and neshama. This is the keteres that brings some good smell, makes easier your avodas Hashem. If you look in the Siddur, when we daven, so when we speak about the Korban Tomid, we say Moshe Avdecha. This is dealing with the outside world, Avdecha Miloshen Avdus. When you're dealing with the keteres in korbanos before davening, you say Atahu Asher Sivisolona the Meishen Viecho. It's a higher madrege. So the Neiros and the keteres, they were a higher madrege. Nevertheless, Ein Madlikin Oisoy Elo Mimizbeach Achitz. The main Menorah, the main Neir Tomid, the way the Rogatshov learns and the Rebbe's Masbir, that's Ikori Shel Menorah, cannot light without being connected to Mizbeach HaChitzon. And this fits very well with the Rambam Shitta in general, that the main objective is to change the world. So he says it, Li Kuva, it's a din in Menorah, it's a Kaddish Sinder. It can't be without it. the Ravid learns that it could be lit from another candle, but if they're all extinguished, then you need a Mizbeach HaChitzon. Al Kol Ponim, this is a little bit to understand the machlekes of the Rambam and the Ravid in Halacha Yud Gimel. So the Rebbe is to help him. We should have back the Beis Hamikdash. Learning about it, it's as if we lit the Menorah, and as if we lit the Menorah from the Mizbeach. Or Bezol the Rebbe should help him, zal zecher sein, like Mordechai Eliyahu, Zechrini Livrocha said, since Hadlokek Shera Bezor, is the Rebbe Zicher Madig sein the Menorah, and Aaron Akayin will tell the Rebbe, you who are madlik all the neshamas Yisrael, l'cho noel, l'cho yoel, to light the Menorah, b'mheira b'yameinu.